So I want to talk a little bit about the eschatological view, Preterism or covenant eschatology. Now, a couple of thousand years ago, the Apostle John said to a church, "It is the last hour." Now, a few years before he said that to his church, Jesus said to him and the 11 other disciples and whoever else was present, he said that when a certain sequence of events begin to unfold, then you will know that it is the last hour, right? And the context of that conversation was the time of the end. So John turns to his church and he says, by these things we know it's the last hour. So they're all thinking, right, it's that last hour, it's when Jesus is going to return, it's when, the time of the end unfolds, right? And as we preterists understand that, it's the time of the end of the old covenant system, right? The temple system, right? That temple's going to come down and the new covenant can begin, right? But there's people out there, futurists, who believe that the last hour has lasted longer than the entire old covenant, like from Moses to John the Baptist, right? They think that the last hour has lasted, that's what they think. They think the last hour has lasted longer than the entire old covenant. Okay. I mean, no. No. I mean, really. It just... Why do we even bother? Why am I making this? I mean, you don't... I mean, you understand that when Daniel was given a prophecy, when he was given his prophecy, he was told to, seal it because the time was not yet, right? But when John, in the Patmos situation, when he was given the prophecy of the end, he was told to keep it open because the time is at hand, right? I mean, the first sentence, you could call it the subtitle of the book of Revelation, is the book of things which must shortly come to pass. I mean, right there is your key, is your, what do you call that thing that helps you decrypt code or information? There's your deciphering tool, that opening line, things which must shortly come. You'd think the last hour was 2,000 years, a span of time longer than the entire old covenant. You think that's what John was telling his church? You think, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Right. Okay, but you understand why I'm right. This is an emotional thing. I mean, in the book of Hebrews, there's a verse. When you translate that verse into English, you'll see it's in English in our Bibles in English-speaking countries. It says that Jesus will return, and this is in the Young's literal. This is the literal translation. So You have to seek that out to get the full flavour, but it says that Jesus will return in a very, very little, very, very little while. That was written, like, what, about 2,000 years ago? About 2,000 years ago, that was written to a church. Right? And right there, that should help you decipher. I mean, I don't know, I can't imagine why you need help deciphering the dozens of times where Jesus said things like, before you're finished going through the towns and cities of Israel, I will have returned. You know, there's many instances where Jesus says things like that. You know what I mean? Within this generation, you know what I mean, all the righteous bloodshed of the world will come upon you to whom I'm speaking within this generation, right? Because he's talking about the vindication of the saints at the destruction of the old covenant way of that age. And then you have the age to come, which is now the new covenant, right? Where all the promises and all the prophecy has been fulfilled. But you don't see that, and I appreciate you don't see that. I just don't know why. I really don't know why. And when I see a futurist person turn to a preterist like myself and call me a heretic, you know what that's like for me? That's like watching a heroin addict infested with AIDS and hepatitis and all the rest of it shoot up. Just take that needle and stick it in their arm. That's what it's like for me when you do that, because it's such a self-indulgent and destructive thing. Only it's worse when you do it, because the heroin addict, they're not delusional like you, and they're not destroying the body of Christ like you are. They're not tearing apart the church. They're not ostracising people and kicking them out of their, you know, their stations, their pastoral work, their preaching, you know, within a church. They're not kicking people out of the body like you are. It's weird, man. It's downright weird. I mean, you've got all these, like, more than 100 statements about how this prophecy is coming to its fulfillment, written 2,000 years ago. And you've got this, you've even got Jesus saying that this is the time where all things that are written will be fulfilled. The context again of that, well, it's the Olivet Discourse when he's talking about the destruction of the temple, right? The destruction of that old way, the judgment, okay? The time of the judgment, the time where the Romans would come in and destroy the city and the temple. And this ushers in the new covenant, and it shows that Jesus is ruling, right? This is the justification. This is the parousia. This is the culmination. But you're so wrapped up with your wee ideas, like, oh no, we're coming back and we're future bodies, and we're going to bust out of the ground or materialise in some, very, fascinating way. We're going to come back, and I'm not saying that that's what makes it crazy. What makes it crazy is the fact it's wrong. I've got no problem with bodies busting out of the ground if that's the way it's supposed to happen. It's not. People say, to follow after the pattern of Jesus. He had his physical body. No sign will be given but the sign of Jonah. That was a sign. Signs don't point to themselves, do they? That was the evidence of the victory of God over death, of life over death. It wasn't a pattern. The time is coming when he who dies but believes in me shall live, and he who lives and believes in me shall never die. right? Well, you need to do some studying, and if I can't convince you in this video, because you have to appreciate that the time has already come. So you need to change your ideas to fit with the truth. And that's the thing about you futurists who would call me a heretic. And kicking out people who espouse this hermeneutic, this idea of Preterism, of covenant eschatology. When you kick these people out of your bodies, your churches, you are literally casting out truth. Could there be a more evident manifestation of Satan? You are pushing out truth. You are the adversary of truth. And I mean, you know it as well. Because what I've said resonates in your ear. You hear it. You just don't let it sink in because you value something else more than truth. Something else means more to you than the truth. Whether it's your church, whether it's your friends, or maybe you're afraid to take on board the truth in case they say something, in case they treat you like you would treat me or other people who espouse the truth. Man, ain't that sad? And yeah, that's the situation. All the best, eh? Work on that.